2. And so I'm waiting for just 1 or 2 more people, and then we can, kick off. Right? So I'm checking the chat. Okay, thank you, Olasheni. So we have Olawenyi Olasheni, lives in Lagos. He works with Miva Open University as a data migration analyst. Wow, welcome, Olasheni. That's amazing, and it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm glad that you are on this webinar today. Welcome, Olasheni. All right, so let's have one more person. Let's have one more person do their introduction, and then we can kick off. Let's just have one more person. Ozia, Major, Oluwaseun, Osiobe, who wants to introduce, who wants to do us the honors. Let's just have one more person. All right. So while we wait for that one person to do the introduction in the chat box, I have some polls, I have some questions, we're going to have like a master session on data cleaning, right? So what are your expectations? So that's what the polls are on. So I'd love that, we take the polls and let's see if we're able to meet your expectations today. So the first poll question is, what's your biggest challenge with messy data? What's your biggest challenge with messy data? Right? What's your biggest challenge with messy data? So you can take the poll and let's see. All right, people are voting already. That's beautiful. All right, check the chat room, please. Okay, I'm checking. All right, so we have engineer Ozia Obolo. He stays in Lagos and he's a civil engineer at ITB Nigeria Limited. Welcome, engineer Ozia. It's a pleasure to meet you and it's a pleasure to have you on the call. All right, so let's go back to our polls. Let's go back to our polls. Yeah, so what's your biggest challenge? Let's see. All right, 2 people voted for handling missing values. No, we have 3 people now. Amazing. And then 1 person voted cleaning inconsistent text entries. Then another person voted fixing formatting issues. Wow, great. Let's keep it going. So most people, they are going for handling missing values. Wow, that's amazing. Let's keep it going. I have 1 more poll for us, and then we can just, kick off. All right. So handling missing values. Wow, handling missing values. Okay. All right. Okay. So let me start the second poll. Let's see. So most people went for handling missing values, followed by cleaning inconsistent text entries and fixing formatting issues. Nobody voted dealing with duplicates. All right, so let's continue. Let's go back. Let's have 1 more poll, and then we can move. So how often do you clean data in Excel? How often do you clean data in Excel? So let's see. How often? Is it every day? Okay, weekly. All right. Daily. Amazing. Weekly. Amazing. Monthly. Okay. Beautiful. And it's fine if it's rarely, right? We're here to learn, right? So if it's rarely, it's beautiful. I'm sure that by the end of today, you will move from rarely to daily, right? Right. So let's see. Let's see what we're still having. So most people clean. So most people clean weekly. That's nice. That's nice. All right. So let's get to it. I'm sure that we had fun doing that. I did, by the way. Right. So let's get to him. Once again, welcome Akim, Ozia, Kazim, Major, Olasheni, Oluwaseun, Osiobe. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you on the call. All right. So before we bring in our trainer, our Excel guru trainer, I just want to, give a brief introduction to what we do at Techlytics so that you can know us better and you can understand why we are doing all of these things that we are doing. So please permit me to share my screen let me share my screen. All right. Okay. And to those that are still joining, welcome, 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 welcome. Please let me know if you can still hear me. Can you still hear me? You can send in the emojis. Can you still hear me? Great, amazing, thank you. Okay, so let's find out a little bit about what we do at Techlytics. So at Techlytics, we empower Africa's workforce for a digital future, right? So this is an overview of Africa and the emergence of AI, the emergence of the new digital skills. Prior to COVID, it was nothing serious. We didn't have all of the skills that we have now, but COVID, caused a lot of change and a lot of skill gap. And, with the projected 230 million jobs requiring digital skills by 2030, leading to nearly 650 million training opportunities, we've seen that at Techlytics as something that, is actually a business problem, and we're looking to say, oh, how can we fix this? How can we ensure that people are actually even enjoying these new jobs that are out there? They're not just sticking to the old ones. And so that's what we do here at Techlytics, right? And we're an edtech institution. We're driving Africa's growth by equipping its workforce with critical digital skills, aligning with the SDG goals for quality education and decent work and economic growth, right? We are accredited by the CBD certification service in the UK, right? So our certifications are not just, simple ones, we're accredited. And it means that, so if you take our certificates anywhere, they are very viable. And, at work, you could just say, oh, I'm certified, right? You could get a promotion. You could get that gig that you're looking to get because we're accredited, right? And our vision and mission, our vision is to be the leading force in Africa's digital transformation, equipping professionals with essential skills that foster economic growth. And that's why we are doing all of this that we're doing, right? Our mission is to drive Africa's growth by providing accessible, accredited digital education in data, product management, and no-code development. We aim to reskill over 10,000 professionals by 2025. That's a lot, right? But we're doing great at it, and, we're looking to, also equipping all of you here today, right? So problem statements, I spoke about that already. How that, there's a skill gap, and we're looking to close that skill gap, right? And our solutions, we have cohort-based learning models where, per cohort, we have data schools, we have product schools, local schools, where people can learn over a period of some weeks, and then they become good and they understand that skills, right? Then we also practice driven experience in our virtual lab and live projects. We have a live project called Pulse, and it's an e-commerce web app where students gain applied skills like data privacy regulations and user behavior analysis, data wrangling, and visualization. So we're not just teaching theory, right? There's also the practical aspect, right? And so the third solution we offer is to enroll strategic internship placements on live client projects via the project implementation division of Techlytics, right? So we also have our project implementation. We don't only teach, right? We also have the project implementation. So we're saying that, oh, when we are done tutoring, we can then bring in our students to, participate in these internship placements to work on real-time projects. And we also have an AI-enabled LMS where there's real-time feedback on your assignment, on your quizzes, your exercises, there's assistance at any point where you get stuck, right? That's amazing, yeah? And our notable partnership, we're partnering with Go54 and we're partnering with the NSC, that's the Nigerian Society of Engineers. We're helping them to skill up the engineers and ensure that they are up to date with the skills that they need. And these are the various brands that trust us. You see that we've been doing a beautiful job over the years. And these are our notable clients also, First Bank, Leadway, and so on. This is the best team. This is Tayo, the founder and lead trainer. Then this is me. I'm the program manager for Data School. Then we have Timothy and we have Deborah. And it's a pleasure to have all of you here today. Right? And so we'll be doing like I rightly said, this is a tester session, right? It's just a short session, and so we have a course where you can get to learn this more. I'm sure that you're going to have a great time today. You're going to want more, right? You're going to want more. So we have a course that's upcoming. It's data cleaning in MX Excel, and it's going to run for 4 weekends. Our courses are very, very easy to run because we understand that we're adults, and then the weekends are easy times for us to actually take these courses. And so over 4 weekends we're going to be running, and it just goes for 124,000 naira. So I'm going to drop a link in the website. Say you want to have a conversation with me for about 15 minutes to know more about these courses, so understand more about what we do at Techlytics. You can book a 15 minutes call with me, and then we can have a conversation about it, and we'll have a great time together. So thank you for listening to me. Right? So let me quickly do a brief introduction about our trainer, and then we'll move on to having her come on board and then, give us all she has to give us. 1 minute, please. All right. So about our trainer, I'm sorry, I'm going to share my screen back again, and so that we can see who our trainer is, right? 1 minute, please. Share. Please confirm you can see my screen. Can you see my screen, please? Please confirm you can see my screen. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. All right, so let's welcome our trainer. She's looking so beautiful, but it's not only about the beauty, the intellect, everything that you need. She has everything we need for an amazing class today, right? So Tolulope Olowokere is a data and business intelligence analyst with over 5 years. Wow, I'm actually clapping. I think you should clap. You can just drop the clapping emoji, and let's gas our trainer up before she comes up, right? So she has over 5 years of experience spanning the health, supply chain. I can see the claps. Let's make it louder so that she'll teach us well. But she's great at what she does. So even if we clap for her or not, she will still do it. But let's gas her up now, right? So she has experience spanning the health, supply chain, and consulting industries. She's a Microsoft certified trainer and also a Microsoft certified data analyst with a strong record of leveraging analytics and automation to optimize operational processes and drive efficiency. She's highly skilled in Excel, Power BI, and SQL, and she uses these tools to extract and create impactful dashboards that support data-driven decision-making. Beyond her technical expertise, she's a passionate educator and mentor, dedicated to empowering others and giving back to the data community. Please, can we make welcome Tolulope Olowokere as she takes us in our session today. Welcome, Tolu. It's a pleasure to have you in class today.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Tolu.
Hi, can you hear me? Because I can't hear you clearly.
Hi, Tolu, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I hope every other person can hear me. So if you can,
Hi, Tolu, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. If you just
Can anyone hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you, Glory.
If you can hear me, please, can you send an emoji? Thank you. All right. Please just give us a minute. I'm sure Tolu will be with us very soon. Hi, Tolu, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear. Yes. I think it's the issue. I don't know. But if anybody else can hear me, let's.
Tolu, if you're speaking, I can't hear you, please. Or can we hear Tolu?
Yeah.
Please, can anyone hear Tolu? You can drop it on the chat box if you can hear her. You can hear her. Okay, great.
Okay, I see emojis of people that can hear me. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you for your time, because it's a lot of sacrifice for you to take out time to join our class today. Thank you so much, Glory, for the warm welcome. So we'll just jump right into it. Today we are our topic for today is the ultimate guide to preparing and cleaning data in Excel, so handling messy data generally. So you agree with me that data preparation or data cleaning is one of the first steps we usually take while performing data analysis. Bad data equals bad insights, and nobody would want to trust you if you are revealing bad insights from their data. Your data will not be trustworthy, and your expertise will be questioned, and we don't want to be in such situations. So we're going to explore today what steps that we can take in Excel to clean data. So I'll just quickly share my screen. Some of us might be familiar with all this already, but it's always good to remind yourself on what you already know. And when I share my screen, okay. All right, so let me know if we can all see my screen. All right. So we're going to start with my slides. Thank you. I can see the hand. So this is just a brief about me, data cleaning. As I said earlier, if you have dirty data, so imagine you're in a field like marketing, or in a field like a sensitive field, like even in health sciences, and you are revealing insights that are not true, that have errors in them, it would be very bad. Something like in marketing, it can lead to like poorly targeted campaigns. You'd be wondering why the marketing team churning out campaigns and then it's not bringing in any form of sale, things like that. So in order for you to reduce the errors that you encounter while working with data, there are some steps you have to take. There are some things that are non-negotiables when you're working with data. So usually, as I said, data cleaning is usually is part of the first step. Most times, the first step will usually be gathering your data, so connecting to your data source, or if you have to gather your data, maybe yourself, maybe by creating a Google form or whatnot, you can do that, or connecting to a data source. So maybe the data is already somewhere. You just need to connect to that data set and start working on it. So once you have your data, the first thing you usually do is to clean and prepare. So cleaning entails preparation, just like doing laundry. So before you do your laundry, you would sort your clothes maybe according to color or according to texture. After that, you would put them into the washing machine, for example, then time it. After washing, you bring it out, or if you use a dryer, you can use a dryer even with the washing machine. And when it's out, you have to fold your laundry, and those are the steps, right? So you see that we had to do some form of sorting, some form of filtering, and those steps will be integrated even what we do here in Excel. So first of all, you have to make sure that your data does not have duplicates. So usually removing duplicates is usually like the first step. You do some form of, you just look through data, make sure that there are no duplicates. You look through, after which you find out if there are duplicates, you most likely have to remove them. Another thing you notice is in some cases you might need to split some columns, you might need to work with split some columns. Sometimes you might need to merge some columns. It all depends. You might also need to apply some data validation. So enough of my talking. Let's get right into my Excel and you see how we do all this. So Excel is a very powerful tool, I must say this, and it all depends on what you're working on. If you're working with large sums of data, you might most likely want to do some of your work in like Power Query. Although today's course does not cover Power Query in our in-depth course, we might cover that. But I'm going to show you here today how to use Excel itself for data cleaning. So the first one here is removing duplicates. Imagine we have a column, it can also be a table, and we need to remove duplicates from the list. So what do you have to do? The only thing you have to do is highlight the entire column, and then you go to the data tab, then you see an icon here, remove duplicates. So you click on it, and then you click on OK, and instantly it tells you that 6 duplicates found and 16 unique items remain. So the 36 duplicates that were found have been removed, and the 16 unique items remain. So most times when you're working with duplicates and maybe you have a large table, you must ensure that it's the entire row that is duplicated, not just column by column. If not, you'll be making a hideous mistake. So that's how simple it is. And I also need to mention on the data tab, that's where you find most of the tools that you use for your data cleaning. So let's move on to the next one, and that's splitting cells. So to split the content of a cell, so sometimes you might download a CSV file that's like a comma separated file, and it comes, maybe everything comes in a single column. You will need to split that column into individual columns. It will not be wise for you to start typing one after the other to split. So the best thing for you to do is to use a feature called text to column. So this is the text to column feature, still found under the data tab. All you need to do is highlight the column that you want to split, and then you move to text to column. Then there are two options now, delimited and fixed width. When you hear delimited or anything, when you hear delimiter or delimited, it just means separator. So a separator usually is like a punctuation mark, whether a comma, full stop, or whatever. In our case here is comma that is common throughout our data sets. Then we have fixed width. So fixed width, I like to explain fixed width like a ruler. So if I click on next here, you see it gives me this kind of ruler-like option. So imagine I want to split at this point after this comma. So this is how it's going to look. So at this point, after 10 digits, it's going to split at this point. So that's not what I want. So I'll go back. Most times we use fixed width when you know that the length of your text is the same all through. So then I click on next. Now you have to choose your delimiter, right? So it looks like semicolon, comma, space. What we have here is comma, right? So I just click on comma here, right? And then you see it has split into 3 columns for me. Once I do this, I click on next. Now the next step you need to do here is to choose the destination. So it's not compulsory, but let me show you the difference. So if you do not choose a destination, it overrides what you already have, right? So the destination is at A1. But if you choose a destination, maybe I say I want the destination to be in B1, and then I open this and say finish, I'll still have my original data, then I have it split to the side. So for the sake of this class, it's always so that we see where we're coming from. I would split, I'll choose a different destination so that we can see where we're coming from. I hope that's clear. Then we move on to merging cells. So after we have splitted, that was easy peasy. We can now choose to merge. So we want to bring 2 cells into one. Now I want to merge these 2 names into one. So there are different methods of merging in Excel. You can use the ampersand symbol. You can use a function called concat or concatenate. Let's see, concatenate. So there are 2. Or we can also use a fairly new function called text join. They all do the same thing. It all depends on your choice and the one that comes to you first. So for this, I'm going to use the ampersand first of all so that we can see how it works. So I'm just going to put it beside here. So I want to join Matthew and Silas to become full names. So I don't want them separate anymore. So I go equals Matthew, that's referencing the cell A2, and right, Silas. Although I want it to be Matthew Silas, but I need a space between them. So it's, in this case, my space is the delimiter. When you're writing a function in Excel, right, and you need to add a text, any text, whether it's punctuation mark, A to Z, you have to put it in double quotation. So that's why I have this space in double quotation. And then I choose Silas. So I'm going to have something like Matthew space Silas. That's what I expect to see. So once I do this, I have that as Matthew Silas. So easy peasy. For concatenate, it's a bit different. This is a function that you usually call. So concatenate or concat, any of them. It allows you to put as many arguments as you'd like. So the first argument here says text1. So I'll choose mark as my text 1. Then my text 2 would be space in this case. So I just have space. Very about this. Then comma. Then next thing is Paul. I close my brackets and then I hit enter. So I have Matthew space Paul. Also, can also use the text join function. The first argument here says delimiter, so I can choose to put my space first, then comma, so I can ignore this also. Then the first text is Luke, comma, Luke John. So Luke, comma, and Apollo. Next, so I get so easy. So you just any of them is your choice. I'm sure most of us may be familiar with the ampersand and concatenate. TextJoin also does the same. So let's move on. Then when we're working with data, right? If you're using Excel as your data entry point, so maybe you created like a form in Excel and you want people to go there and fill, you can agree with me that you most likely have messy data in return when you collect that data from the participants that fill that form, because some people make spelling errors and all that. So in order to restrict the amount of error that you get in your data, you have to introduce something we call data validation. So as the name sounds, it just means validating the entry in a cell in Excel. So you don't want them to just type in whatever. You want them to type based on a condition that you have placed, based on an instruction that you have placed. So data validation is comes in very handy when you're creating forms, when you're creating models in Excel. So it's not just for data cleaning sake, but mostly for that anyways, but it's always comes in very handy. Now how do I navigate to data validation? Still on the data tab, you see this tool here. It's called data validation. With data validation, you can create drop-down lists. You can restrict whatever is entered into a cell and all that. So we're going to create something very quick here. Now imagine this is a form that was filled and I want people to fill this form. So imagine I'm in an organization and our employee ID is a 4-digit number, a 5-digit number, and I want people to not maybe mistakenly fill their account number because they see something that has to do with number here. So I want them to fill just their ID. I will restrict this column to only pick 4 digits. So how do I do that? So I'll highlight, then I move to data validation, and then I choose text length. So I want it to be equal to 4. So because the length of our ID is a 4-digit number. So once I do this and I click OK, if I come here and I try to type in a number that is more than 4, it gives me an error prompt that what I'm trying to enter is not allowed because there have been data validation restrictions on that cell. So this is how you can stop people from typing in wrongly into a cell that you have created. That's one way. There are many options, but if I type in 1, 2, 3, 4 and I hit enter, it allows me because I restricted it to only 4 digits. If I try to type in just 2 digits, it also gives me that error. So that's what data validation does for you. Then imagine for this column, I don't want people to type in random numbers that are not sorry, I don't want them to type in their departments and have errors in the way they type it and stuff like that. I'll need to create a drop-down list. We can also use data validation to do that. So I highlight, then I go to data validation, then list, then I choose for my source. So I can choose to type in the list of departments we have, or I can also choose to highlight somewhere outside my table, and then I click on OK. Now I've created a list, and with this I can just choose from the list. Oh, okay, I'm in IT, or I'm in operations and stuff like that. You can also do the same thing for the age. So maybe like in Nigeria, our age, working age is from 18 to 65, right? So I want to restrict these cells to only take care of those numbers. So I go to data validation and then whole number. Then between 18 and the maximum will be what? 65. Right? Then I click on OK. So once I type in maybe 66, it gives me an error, right? It does not allow me to write that. But once I type in 25, it allows me because it's between 18 and 25. Same thing with the phone number. Phone number is usually 11 digits, so you can restrict this column also to 11 digits. Quickly, text length must be equal to 11, and then I click on OK. So now once I try to type in my phone number. So you see, before I typed in my phone number, I put in a single quote. So I'm changing that number. I'm changing the number to a text. I'm converting that number to a text. Something like this. And I click on OK. And it allows me to type in. But if I try to type in my phone number without the quote in front, it's okay. I even typed in more than it's 11. It gives me an error because it will automatically, if you start writing a number in Excel with 0, it gives you an error because it eliminates that first number. So if you want it to be stored as a text, you must put the single quotes in front before you type in the number. So I hope that's clear. We'll move on to the next one, which is flash fill. This is also a very handy tool to use in Excel. So the flash fill acts like I like to describe it like a nosy person. So let me give an example. Imagine I want to separate these matrix numbers I have here into these 3 columns. I know I can use what do you call it? To column, but I don't want to use text to column. I want to use something faster, in my opinion. So if I type EEE, so let me type it the way it looks, EEE, right? And then I hit enter and I go CVE. So see what happens instantly. It's giving me like assumptions of, it already knows what I'm trying to type. It sees that I'm trying to extract the first 3 characters from this list, right? And once I hit enter, it helps me to populate it. So that's what flash fill does. Very, very smart. I can also do the same for the year of admission. So, but before I type in the year, I put a single quote and I go 04, enter. The next year is 03, right? 03. Before I even type in the 3, it already knows what I'm trying to type. And then it gives me a hint, and I'm fine with that. I hit enter. And that's how I extract. Flash fill is very handy. Then I go for the last one, 2995. Then I've not even started typing 1235, and it's giving me what I need to see. So I hit enter, and it helps me populate it instantly. So that's how versatile or interesting this flash fill can be. So the next thing we are going to is date formats. So for this date format, Excel handles 4 types of data, or the data type that Excel handles, or whatever you type into a cell in Excel is categorized under 4 things: either a number, a text, a Boolean that's true or false, or a formula. It cannot be anything else apart from this. But you need to know that a number is also a date, or a date is also a number. So you see this number I have here is today's date, right? If I go to the home tab and I change it to a number or general, it gives me something like this. You agree with me that while working with Excel, you've seen date columns that have numbers looking like this, 44,000 and something, 45,000 and something. It just means it's a date, but it has just been formatted with is taking a number format, so you can always convert it to a proper number. Now, why does it look like that? So the thing, what is working behind this thing is that the first date in Excel is 1 January, so 1/1/1900, right? So if I change this to a number, I should see number 1. So it's like a serial number. From this date, this is the first date till the date we are today. That's how the date has been counting. So you see, it's a number, like number 1. And if I change it back to a date, this is the date. So it shows me that today's date is in the serial number in Excel is 45,743. So tomorrow might be 744. So that's how it goes. Now there are many ways you can. So anytime you see a number showing that kind of 45,000, 47,000, 44,000, you should know that it's a date. You can always come here and convert it back to a date. There are many date functions we use in Excel, a whole lot. But today I'll just introduce us to some of the interesting ones we know. So there's one called today, and today function just returns today's date. You don't need to put anything inside. It doesn't have any argument, so it's just empty brackets. Today function returns today's date, and I hit enter, so it gives me today's date. If I come to this workbook tomorrow, it's tomorrow's date that will be available for me because tomorrow now becomes today. There's also another function called now, and you just open and close the bracket, and it gives you today's date and time. So my current time here is 5:39. So that's what you will see. Maybe 6:39 in your side. So that's what you see. So for date, it gives you current date, and then for now, it gives you date and time. You can also choose to format your date in text format. So you want to see it in a certain way, like 27 March 2025. You don't want to just see it this way, but you want to format it. You see this table here. This is the way you can format your data. So if there's a function called text, that means you're converting. You remember, date is a number. So you want to convert a number to a text. Use a function called text, right? So the text function picks a value, and in our case is this date, right? So you want the format to be, for example, I want to see something like 27 March 2025, right? So I have to put it in double quotes. Remember, anything in Excel's formula or function has anything that you are representing as text in Excel function or formula, you have to put it in double quotes. So I go DD, dash, then MMM dash YYYY. Now you may ask me, what does DD mean, MMM, YYY? So this is the format that it takes. When you use 4Ds, right, you want to see the full name of the day. So you want to see something like Friday. If you use 3Ds, you want to see something like Fry. Or today's Thursday, you want to see something like Thur. Then if you use 4Ms, you want to see the full name of the day, of the month. Then 3Ms, you want to see maybe something like Jan, Feb, something like that. Then if you use 4Ys, you want to see the full year. So you want to see 2025, something like that. And then once you're done with this, you close your bracket and you hit enter. And then you have something like 27th March 2025. Did you notice that my time changed as I did something within the cell? So that's the now function also updates with time. As the sheet updates, the now function also updates. Even the date function updates. So that's how you convert to a text. So if I reduce my year, I just use 2 Ys and I use 2 Ms. So I see something like this. It's interesting. That's how you can format dates in Excel. The next thing is trimming and cleaning your data. So sometimes you might work with data that might have empty trailing spaces before the text and after the text. Some you might see, some you may not see. So looking at this table now, it looks fine, it looks normal, but there are trailing spaces, something like this. It's not the formatting. we have trailing spaces. So we need to get rid of those trailing spaces, because why is it a problem? So let me looking at this list of car brands here, right? I have this Honda and I have this Honda. Now imagine I want to remove duplicates. It's going to these two Honda is still going to remain because they are not the same. One has trailing space and the other doesn't. So in order for you to have accurate data, you have to get rid of trailing spaces, because you will be having duplicates if you have the same names. So in order to remove trailing spaces, you use a trim function. So for example, I just go equal to trim, and then I choose the text I want to trim, and I hit enter. Then I drag down so that it populates to the end. So with this now, I can copy this and then paste here as values. So now I have the trim function without, I've used the trim function and I've been able to eradicate all the trailing spaces. So I have a cleaner data set. So that's how trim works. I'll do the same for the brands that we have here. So equal to trim. Then I choose the first one. Then I drag my function down so it populates down for me. With this now, I can now copy this column, then paste it here. But I'm going to paste as values. If there's any question about pasting, let me know in the comments. So if I just paste normally, if I just copy and paste Ctrl V, sorry, Ctrl Z. So I just copy, right, then paste here normally. So I'm getting empty. Why? Because what I'm pasting, I think I cut. Ctrl C and then Ctrl paste. It's giving me empty. Okay, I know why. So what I'm trying to paste like has disappeared. What I trimmed off, because remember that I had, let me try to explain step by step. Insert copied cells in a new cell. Okay. I had data here, right? And then I'm trimming this whole data because I'm referencing cell column G. But once I copy it and paste it on it again, there's nothing else to trim. Like I've taken away the source that I was trimming. So when you're pasting, you must paste as, so you copy normally and then paste as values, so that you don't take the formula behind that works behind the scenes. But if you just paste normal, it pastes the formula, the format, and everything. So you just paste as values so that you have the same, the values trimmed properly. Okay, so let's go on. The next formatting or shape preparatory step that we usually take is using the sentence case or formatting your case sentences. So, you know, in other Microsoft software, we have this like case sentence or how to change your text into different case sentences or different cases. But in Excel, we don't have that option here. So instead, we use any of these three formula, either upper, lower, or proper. So when you use the upper, you are converting a text string into uppercase. When you use lower, you are converting a text string into lowercase. And when you use proper, you're converting a text string into capitalize each word. So it all depends on what you are going for. So it's easy. So I just use the upper. Let's say I'm changing that sentence case, and this is how it will return. For lower, so I'm going to change this to lowercase, and then this is how it returns. Then for proper, I want to change this, and then you see how it returns. So it capitalizes each word in that sentence. That's how it works. So now I'm going to wrap up all that we've learned so far into one single in a file. We have this practice file here. We're going to explore all that we've worked on. We're going to practicalize them here. So the first thing I can see here is I have empty cells, empty rows, or missing values. So there are different ways to handle missing values. It all depends. You can entirely delete the columns or the rows that contain missing values if you cannot make sense of what is left in that column. It's just better you delete it. It also depends on the company, like maybe the kind of data set you're working with. So if it's something sensitive and you have missing values that if you continue analysis with it not make sense, you might have to delete the entire row. Another step you can take, so if you have missing values in like numerical columns, you can choose to find the mean value of that column, so the average value, then replace it with the empty cells. Although some people can debate here and there because it might not be so accurate, but that's some things that data analysts do sometimes. When the missing values are not so many, you find the average of that column and then use the average to replace all the missing cells. So in our case here, we have missing rows, and if you just this cell that's just this row that has missing values without the entire row. So first of all, I'm going to highlight the entire row, the entire table. I would have used Control A, but it's not going to work because Excel, when there's a break, Excel feels like this is another table entirely. But we know that is the entire table that we're working on. So I just use my mouse to highlight the entire table. And then there's a shortcut called Control G. That's go to special. It helps you navigate to where whatever you want to go to. So it's called the go to. So once I type Control G, press Control G on my keyboard, you see the go to special pop up. So I click on special and then I click on blanks. So to highlight all the blanks it has in my table. So I can choose to delete. So my verdict here is to delete the entire rows. So I can use the shortcut again, Control and minus. It brings up delete. So I want to delete the entire row of all the blank rows I have that's been highlighted. So once I do that, I click on OK. So now I see I no longer have any blank rows. So that's the first step, removing every blank rows. Then the next thing I would like to do, so in cases where you have maybe your data is like, you see things like this, some are tight, some are overlapping. You know how it can look like sometimes, right? So some are looking like this. A quick way or a quick hack to go about it, you just click on this triangle at the edge here, and then you double click in between two columns like B and C, and then it spreads it out automatically for you all through, so you can have a better view of your data. Then next thing that I'll go through, so looking through, the first column looks fine. I see all my dates in an appropriate format. The column customer ID column also looks okay. Then my customer name column, I think I want to separate this column into first name and last name. So remember, to do that, I'll highlight the column and then go to data text to column. But before I do that, I'll prefer to insert a new column, right? And I'll call this column first name, and this one last name. Quickly, I'll highlight this entire column. I'll move to text to column, and then I'll choose to split. So I don't have a comma here. Instead, I have an underscore. So I'll choose underscore here. I click on next, and then I click on finish. So I have first name and last name. Okay, this one did not go because it is full stop here. So to do that, I go back to text to column, next, So I see that is full stop and not underscore. So I change it to full stop and I go finish. So it has splitted this for me also. Interesting, right? The gender column looks nice. The brand column, what can we do here? Okay, I can see there's some discrepancies. So Nike, Nike Inc., Nike UK. I want it to be uniform. So I'm going to use the find and replace feature. So control find or control F rather, and I choose replace. Now I want to replace Inc. with nothing. Right? Okay, there's even Inc. and so I want to replace Inc. with the full stop with nothing. Okay, I also want to replace UK with nothing. So now it looks a lot better and looks more uniform. All right, so for the product, I can see the text is looking funny. I will need to change this case to proper. You agree with me, proper or lower? It all depends. So I'll just insert a new, and I'll use the proper function. So I go proper, and I choose this, close my bracket, hit enter, then I populate down. So it looks better this way. Now I'm going to copy this. And remember, I'm going to paste here as values. Now I'm free to delete this entire column. That's fine. So my products look better. And purchase type looks good. For this location, I'm going to insert a column here. Now I want to extract, so I'm going to insert two columns. To split this, but I don't want to use text split. I want to just extract the location, so the city and the country. So once I type London, right, I'm going to use flash fill. I type Madrid. Before I completely type Madrid, it has already flash filled it for me. So I just type in enter. So I already have this column. I'm going to call this city. Then for the country, I'll go UK, Spain. Before I completely type Spain, it already picks it for me, and then I hit enter. So now I can easily delete this column, and then I have city and country. For quantity, everything looks nice. For the price, I can see that I have commas instead of full stop. So I just highlight this entire column, Control H, that's find and replace. I'll replace all the commas in that column with a full stop. So replace all, and it does that for me instantly, and that's fine. Then my cost per unit, I can see some are aligned to the left and they are stored as text, but I want everything to be numbers. So to do that, I'll just use the value function. So just like we have text that converts a number to a text, we also have value that converts a text to a number. So that's what I'm going to use here. And then I'll click to populate down. Then I'll copy this and paste this here as values. And then now I can easily calculate my sum. So auto sum, just alt and equal to I find the total sum of that column easily. So one last step, I'm going to convert this entire range into a table. So I just click somewhere in between the range and I hit Control T. Or another way is you can go to the Insert tab and then click on Table, and then you can convert this to a table. All right, so I'm going to use a better, so I think I prefer this. So it looks better from where we're coming. Okay, one more step before we even do this. I noticed that some of the fonts are not formatted properly. So I'll just format the font size. I'll go here I just choose something uniform. So everything is in 12 and everything is fine. Nothing is, some are italicized, some are not. So I'll remove all those. So everything should be straight. I think it looks good now. It looks better than where we're coming from, if you agree. Let me see your emoji reaction. Okay, everything looks nicer now. At least if you are set with this kind of data, you can start work. You know what you want to do. The next steps might be create a pivot table and make sense out of your data. Although that's not why we're here, but we can do much more. Nice. So I'm happy that we have been able to come this far in this lesson. If there are any questions, please let me know in the chats and I'll be there to answer. So thank you all for having me.
Thank you so much, Tolu. That was an insightful session, right? If you really enjoyed that, I think you should be clapping. So let's see your clapping emoji to tell Tolu a very big thank you for simplifying, this topic and making it look very, very, very interesting. I was enjoying myself. I didn't even want it to end, right? So if you have any questions, please. I'm seeing a question from Waliu. It's asking about, what about if you want a specific number, e.g., account number, which is usually 10. Waliu, would you like to explain better what you are asking about? Yes, Waliu, please, you could just drop another message to explain better so we understand. All right. Okay, Tolu, please go for it, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I understand what Waliu is talking about. I'm sure he's talking about data validation here, right?
Okay.
If you just want 10 digits like account number, it's the same way you would go about it. So it all depends. Another step you can also take is to convert this entire column to text. So you see that I've not even typed in anything there. I'll just change the number format to text. So I'm converting that column to text. So whatever I type in here will be stored as text. Now I then go on to data validation. So under the data tab, so data validation, and then I go text length, right? So I want it to be equal to 10 digits, right? So if I come here and type in my account number as 10 digits, right? It allows me, and it's still stored as text. So you're seeing this green arrow here because it is stored as text. Although it's a number, but it's stored as text. You usually store things like account number, phone number, employee ID. You usually store them as text because even though they are numbers, like with what we see, they are numbers, but they are not numbers. They're not real numbers because we do not want to calculate them. You don't want to find the average of account number. It will not make sense to you. You don't want to find the sum of phone numbers. That kind of number would never exist. They're usually used as an ID. So you usually store them as text, although they are numbers, but you usually store them as text. So I hope that clears it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Tolu. Thank you. Waliu, I hope that was clear to you. Thank you so much. So like I said, this is a tester section, and I'm sure you guys want more because I really even want to learn more about it, right? So this is tester section, and we have an upcoming course. Please permit me to share my screen so that so we have an upcoming course, data cleaning in MS Excel. It's going to hold for 4 weekends, and it's an amazing course. If you have enjoyed what you learned here, then you know that you're going to have a swell time, learning more. There's still more, right? This is just the tip of the iceberg. There's still more to be learned. So I'm going to drop the consultation link again on the group chat. If you want to have a 15 minutes conversation with me as regards the course, or you want to understand better, we have other courses that we also offer. You want to understand better what we do at Technetics, please, you can just have a 15 minutes call with me and then we can talk about it. Then I've also dropped the link to our website. You can check out our website to see our events, upcoming events, other webinars we're having. other courses that we also offer. And so I also dropped our YouTube link. We also have materials that will help your learning, right? Today we talked about message data, that's data cleaning. There are also other topics in Excel that might interest you and that we have there, other master classes that we've held, and then that are there also. So do well to just go there and learn, and then reach out if you have any questions or anything that you want to talk about. So I have a final poll that I want everybody to fill, please. So I want to know how you enjoyed today's webinar session. I want to know how much you enjoyed today's webinar session. So let the votes start coming in. We want to gas up Tolu, right? We want Tolu to know that yes, she did a great job here this evening. All right, I'm 5-star. Okay, Tolu, I'm clapping. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you. And it was an amazing time having you all here. Don't forget, if you want to know more about Techlytics, please, the links are on the chat box. Do well to send a message, reach out, and I'll be willing to take all your questions, and I'll be willing to have you on board. Thank you for joining us. It was an amazing time here. If you want a recap, we have a recap of this session on YouTube, so you can go back and watch it. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking time out of your time to be with us today. We appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope that you have an amazing night rest. Yeah. Bye. Thank you.